Hello everyone, I'm Shaurya, and this is the biggest problem with space exploration, and this is a what if video. There's this paragraph. Yeah. This is the first what if video, and if you don't know what if is, it's a YouTube channel and they make all the scenarios and what would happen if this happened, or the problem with space, like you were saying, the biggest problem is space exploration, or what if aliens came, or what if there was a zombie apocalypse, and all these fun types of video, and I love it. One of the best channels on YouTube. Check them out. There will be a link in the description with this link of this video. Today we're going to react to this, the biggest problem is space exploration. Space exploration, if I tell you before the start of this video, I think the biggest problem would be the distance, because it's light years away. If some places, like, we are possibly sure that there's nothing at least 10,000 light years away, the other living planet. If that 10,000 light years away planet see the Earth, they would see the 10,000 years in past. So that's a big problem. And if we see some place that is, for example, 10 million light years away, we would see 10 million light years in the future or in the past, and we would not know where to go, or should we go there, or is that place the same as it was, or there is an explosion, star explosion, anything like that. That would be the biggest problem. We should, if we invented warp travel, that is hard, but we invented communication, radio waves. There will be something like that in space, and in a second we teleport to some location, and that will be specifically only in space, not in normal planet atmosphere, because space does not have an atmosphere. Maybe that could be possible. Let's see what's the biggest problem with space exploration.
Deadly solar flares, planet-destroying asteroid strikes, or a hostile alien takeover. These might be what comes to mind when you think of the most dangerous threats to Earth from outer space, but the biggest threat could be microscopically small. Why is NASA so worried about space microbes? How much damage could an extraterrestrial microorganism do here on Earth? And if we aren't careful, how would we wipe out life on other planets? This is What If, and here's what would happen if the next pandemic came from space. There are somewhere between 100 and 200 billion.
This is something to do with pandemics and viruses. That is a dangerous thing. We all came from some virus, not virus, some nuclear cell, microbes, and that will be, he is right, that was the biggest thing. Because remember, when Europeans came to America first, they spread all their diseases and they did not have any vaccines, and a lot of people died in America when the Europeans came with their diseases. So that happened on Earth. So imagine space. Space will have all kinds of viruses that you would know nothing about, even if you try to know anything about them. Let's continue.
Here's what would happen if the next pandemic came from space. There are somewhere between 100 and 200 billion galaxies in the observable universe. While we haven't discovered life on another planet just yet, there is a staggering number of worlds where it could exist if the conditions were just right. And that's why NASA and other space agencies take the potential contamination between our world and other planets very seriously. I mean, after all, the last thing we want to do is discover life among the stars, only to find that we put it there. Scientists call this forward contamination. Terrestrial microscopic organisms from our world could could arrive on other planets, moons, or asteroids by catching a ride on equipment that someone didn't clean thoroughly. If it's a mission to Mars or Jupiter's moon Europa, where conditions for life are theoretically possible, contamination protocols get even stricter. But another form of contamination is possible: backward contamination. We could unknowingly bring back extraterrestrial microbes from space. Or these life forms could spread across the universe naturally, hitching rides on meteoroids, comets, or even space dust.
Zombie virus could be a space microbe. It could be possible. Somebody should make a movie about it. Virus came from aliens. It would be a good topic to make a movie about it.
This theory, known as panspermia, might even explain how life traveled the universe and arrived on Earth in the first place. But
that's a big argument between scientists that we were put here or we came here by mistake. Someone left us here, some microbes left us here, and if we study the religious scriptures too, we were created. Someone made us here. That would be the case. Maybe we would make someone in some another planet, or we did by mistake, or someone made us by mistake, or with planning. That could be the case. That will explain all these inventions and stuff that we read in our scriptures.
where life can go, it can also destroy.
Check this out. Want a quick and easy way to make tons of pro-looking videos all by yourself?
While we could face deadly exposure in the vast expanse of space, there's another kind of dangerous exposure out there. Online. Yeah, the other day I was Googling my own name, because that's what I do, and I came across some pictures of myself, some stuff from What If, and then a bunch of information about myself and my family that probably shouldn't be out there. You know, it's unnerving to see your private life out there for anyone to find, and I know I'm not alone, because data brokers are profiting from your data, selling it to robocallers, spammers, pretty much anyone who's buying it. But you have the power to take control of your online safety.
When Elon Musk sent his Tesla into space, it's likely he wasn't taking the best protection measures against interplanetary contamination. And as more and more commercial space launches happen, that could become the norm. The reality is that it would be nearly impossible not to contaminate space. It's already too late. Take, for example, a privately launched Israeli lunar lander that crashed on the moon in 2019. It was carrying thousands of microscopic organisms called tardigrades. They are known to be able to withstand extreme conditions like freezing temperatures and high radiation. They could be up there on the moon plotting their revenge right now. Some microorganisms can grow and evolve in microgravity or in conditions similar to the Martian permafrost. That means we need to take every precaution to avoid forward contamination. And before you ask me what any of this has to do with destroying life on Earth, well, just wait. Things are about to get dangerous. But first, how do we avoid this forward contamination? Well, we should start with rigorous chemical cleaning and heat sterilization to kill any life on the outside of our spaceships. Just make sure you step far away from this process. And as we envision human-crewed missions to Mars, we should set up strict policies about where we can land and explore long before we go there. We should establish exploration zones where we could contaminate in a controlled manner. Then we'd apply stricter precautionary measures before we explored other parts of the Red Planet. But it's not forward contamination that should scare you. In these outer space missions, we could accidentally pick up extraterrestrial life and bring it back to Earth. These microbes entering our biosphere could pose existential threats to all kinds of organisms, ourselves included. Finding life on Mars, either fossilized or alive, seems pretty slim, but it's possible that life forms could survive in the water-rich spots on the planet. These Martian organisms may have the same biological origin as life on Earth. Now that sounds cool, but that's what would make them dangerous. Because it's more likely that these extraterrestrial microbes would find Earth to be a hospitable new home.
Now I'm getting what he's trying to say. Either we could bring some virus and we would not even have cure and a lot of people will die just because that virus came in. And somebody who came from outer space or on the planet he or she should be needed to contaminated or live in a contamination zone, like in COVID-19 you were in lockdown, something like that, or that would not be good. All this fear, people who use it, this fear, you could just make it and there is some virus and everybody should be inside their homes. That would not be good, but that's a real problem.
If this was the case, there's a chance that these invasive space microbes might slowly take over our blue marble. They could force many species of plants and animals into extinction. Humans too. And that's because they could be pathogens. Those are organisms like parasites, fungi, or viruses, and they need a host to do their thing. A host like you. And because these parasites are out of this world, they could be resistant to your immune system's responses. They'd quietly replicate and spread inside your body until they were ready to come out. One day you'd cough up a yellow mucus. Maybe an oxygen-loving mucus that would start growing and spreading all around you. This alien monstrosity could grow as fast as 1 meter in one day. Soon, it might develop a fruiting body with deadly spores inside of it. Eventually, this thing would burst open, releasing thousands of spores. Now, this would be one thing if it happened in an isolated lab, but if this monstrosity exploded outside in the open, well, there's nothing we could do to stop alien spores from spreading and infecting everything in their way.
Maybe that's why there's some restriction. There should be some restriction on air travel or space travel. Because if some virus, like this is a real threat, if something came, we would never know what it does, or it could spread crazy, or maybe that's the reason there's no life on this planet, or life cannot grow with having suitable conditions and stuff. That could be the reason that there's no life, that it destroys the life that starts to grow there. These pathogens and parasites are dangerous.
That's game over for Earth. Better to eradicate these microbes quickly before they could wipe us out. And that's why we need strict rules and protocols for returning spacecraft, their crew, and any potential biological samples they may carry. In past Apollo missions, astronauts were quarantined for 30 days after returning to Earth, and all the lunar samples they brought were subjected to extensive life detection and biohazard protocols. If you were transporting samples from Mars, well, you should assume they're dangerous until it's clear they're not. That means proper containment. And that containment should stay intact throughout your spacecraft's travel, re-entry into Earth's atmosphere, and delivery to quarantine facilities. You should only distribute the samples once scientists have proven that they don't contain any biological life. If there's even a slight uncertainty that the samples weren't properly contained, Well, they and the entire spacecraft must be sterilized while still in space. And if there's still doubt, well, sorry, your spaceship could never return to Earth. Yep, you should turn around and get ready to settle down on Mars permanently. But that's a story for another What If.
That could be a dangerous thing, but it's logical. It should not be there, but it's there. What if some rocket burst mid-atmosphere while entering the Earth with all these microbes and pathogens? Or maybe they could use it badly. There's a lot of things involved here. We are on the verge of becoming a type 1 civilization. We are going to be super intelligent. We are going ahead in time. We are doing all these things, going in space and maintaining space travel. And by the looks of the world, I don't think is the time. Because people do not know what to say. How would they know what to do when they have to travel out to space or things like that? Because there's a lot of things involved. Maybe that's why AI would help us. Could be a thing. Tell me, what do you think about what are the more causes and what we can do, and are we fit to do it, or how do we get fit to do all this space travel? I don't think we would be close to traveling to space, but not that easily. Like travel to that we can go to any country right now. It would be easy, but not be that easy that we could go to any planet. Not in our lifetime, maybe, but it could be possible. It could be possible. The first plane was flown in 1890, I guess 1880s or 1890s, and there was a World War just 50 years later. World War II that had the most airplanes ever. That could be the case. But this is it for this video. If you like it or want me to see more, you can recommend more. That's it. I'm Shaurya. Like, subscribe. Have a great day.